Uh-oh, we're being recorded.
You guys heard that? Recording in progress?
Yes.
I thought that was something I only heard.
Nope.
We always hear it.
We all got warned. We're going to plead the fifth.
No
I
plead
hear-
the fifth when you recorded.
Yeah, there's a setting in the meetings, Rob, where it says allow participants to join without a host or something like that.
The recording announcement, I hear that on all the meetings when you turn it on.
Didn't know that happened.
It seems to be new though, Rob. It didn't always happen the last week or so, I think.
Did somebody tell Ted that he can join now?
No.
Hey, Joe, there's no firmware for the Anytone.
Oh, again?
Yeah,
1.24 or something?
2.4 or 2.5. I can't keep track anymore.
Okay.
I'm not going to jump on it. I'm
Me
going to wait.
neither. Let them figure out the bugs.
JC1DOY from KB1JO. Did I get through?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted, the room is open if you want to jump in.
I've been trying and for some reason it won't connect. It's the same link as before.
No, it just opened a couple of minutes ago, so give it another try.
Okay, we'll do. C1DOY, clear.
Oh, boy.
What a crappy day, huh?
Oh, you don't like it?
Holy crap, no.
It was okay. I didn't have to go out and do anything.
We need the rain.
Well, it's fine for a Tuesday, not for the weekend.
It just means I have to spend more time on my elliptical.
If you're retired like me, we don't care which day it rains.
Sometimes we don't even know what day.
Yeah,
That's
for you,
also true.
every day is a weekend for you.
Every day is
Absolutely.
yep. I haven't worked overtime in several years.
Overtime's usually a good thing for me, Eric.
Yeah,
Overtime.
wasn't for me.
Overtime. What's overtime?
More pay, higher
Mhm.
pay.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
like
How
working
do
tomorrow.
how do I
Waiter.
work- how do I do that?
Greater percentage per hour for me, buddy.
I never got overtime, 44 years, never.
I got overtime, but I paid dearly. Thanksgiving dinner, 3 o'clock in the morning on a winter. Well, I hated those.
No, I was exempt. You couldn't get overtime.
I'm sorry for eating in front of you. Yeah, so overtime's really great for me because I'm an hourly kind of guy. I'm stuck to 40 hours a week. If I make 80 hours a week, yeah, that's all time and a half.
Uh,
Hey, Sean, is that mic for your rig or is that you do podcasts or something?
It's set up for the computer. So it's do gaming.
Okay. Call of Duty, I bet.
No, actually I try and stay away from those shooter games. I do more of the building and multi-person coordination of large, just kind of manufacturing type thing.
Okay.
What games?
Space Engineers,
Space.
Empyrean, and then was doing some others. Life is Feudal kind of fell apart, but that was like a medieval type MMO. And then yeah, 7 Days to Die. It's a zombie apocalypse game.
That was pretty cool. My son does a lot of that stuff. Not those specific titles though.
Don and I do crosswords.
I do
Well,
it late.
I bought a new set of binoculars, Eric.
What'd you get?
They're 10 by 50s. and
Okay.
they're made by, I can't tell you the name right at the moment, but they're a hell of a lot better than ones that I used to use.
Now, Bushnell?
Not Bushnell. No, sir.
I got Nikon 8x40s. They're good general purpose binocular.
Nikon makes great optics. But I bought these because they were very well rated. I bought them out of Cabela's, and yeah, they're a hell of a lot better than ones I had in the car.
The ones I
Them
have
50s are
have a lifetime warranty. You can drop them in a pond. They'll be fine. Throw them in the sand and kick them around. If they go bad, you send them back. They fix them or give you a new one.
they don't go out of
Lifetime.
parallax.
That's the problem that I had, Eric.
Everybody's goes out of parallax. You got to treat them like they're eggshells.
Right. Exactly. So half the reason I bought them is because they came with not only just a cover, but a hard shell kind of thing that I could keep them in, that they wouldn't knock them out of parallax.
Yeah.
All of my binoculars, except for maybe one set, have gone out of parallax, and it's like you're blind. You see one here up in the upper left, you see one here on the lower left, and you can never make a mingle into one vision.
What does that mean, go out of parallax?
They're not in sync. The two lenses are not in sync. So you've got
Yeah.
one eye this way and one eye that way.
You see
And-
one here, you see another one here.
So you end up looking through with one eye like a monocular.
I've
Exactly.
never seen that happen, huh?
Oh, no.
Or like when you're drunk.
Well,
Well, that's happened with open.
you've seen that happen, right, Joe?
Yeah. Once or twice.
I used to buy at work. I used to buy the cheap ones and then just replace them periodically. But I have a friend that has. I'm not sure what their power is, but their image stabilization, and he
Mhm.
swears by them. But they're like $1,500,
Wow.
and I'd hate to drop one of those.
Yeah.
I only spend about 220 on these. They seem to do quite well.
Good.
How are they in low? Have you tried them in low light yet?
Yes, I've been able to use them probably an hour after dark.
Okay.
All binoculars gather light, so they're good low light devices.
Right. Depending on the aperture, these are 50s. So if you got something that's like double that, you're going to gather more light. Half that, you're going to have the light.
Joe used to spy on those opium dens down in Lower Dixwell, right?
What the hell, Joe? Jesus.
I remember using the first generation night vision. Oh my God.
Russian?
No, they were
I'm amazed
US.
you're still alive.
They were US.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
The Russian stuff was that stuff was brutal.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
needed a
more
Geiger
radiation
counter.
coming back into your forehead than going out the other way.
Now, the Russians are great at mimicking stuff. They can replicate stuff, but they're just not good at initializing stuff.
They can replicate cancer with those.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
They're doing a good job against our embassies.
Yeah, they're turning them into microwave ovens.
Yeah, with no heat.
Yeah.
They experimented with Cuba down there. You remember
It
that?
started with Cuba, but
Started
it's
with
more
Cuba.
That's right.
widespread.
That's
Now
right.
it's hitting the US and around the world, ours and other countries.
Excuse me.
There's a guy in the news last night, the poor guy's had a constant headache for the last 3 years.
I used to get that before I retired.
Yeah.
Was that from the paperwork, Eric?
A lot of times it was. Nothing more exciting than doing personnel budgets, Rob.
Who's
Yes,
got
Rick.
questions? Anybody?
I've always got questions. I want to bug you guys too much though.
No,
That's what
there's
we're here
no
for.
that's no such thing here. There's no such thing as bugging too much.
That's the purpose of having this net.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys because I'm running into these little errors that I learn from them. So tonight I'm going to try and get ahead of one. So let me give you this story real quick. The local ham repeater is Mount Tom, so it's W1 TOM, and they've got their 2 meter frequency, and then they have a check-in on Sunday morning, and so I was on there and I was giving my 2 meter check-in, and half hour later they have the 440 check-in, and I didn't get on the mic fast enough, but I heard two guys kind of cancel each other out. And I said, wait, whoa, how did they get two signals in? I didn't realize one guy was still broadcasting on 2 meter, the other guy was, or transmitting on 2 meter, and the other guy was transmitting on 440. That got me to question, what did I transmit on? So I went in and I looked at my my spreadsheet, and I went, son of a bitch, here I am thinking I'm a big shot on 2 meter, and I've been doing 440 the last 3 check-ins. So I use the software, I reset all my channels to the appropriate frequencies. And today I officially transmitted on 2 meter, and then I went to 440 the half hour later, and I felt pretty proud of myself. I figured, well, while I was there, I might as well program in the 10 meter frequency also. Now, I know I don't have the antenna for that. I just have the stock antenna that came with the radio, or I should say that I was given by a friend down the road who's also a ham. And I guess I'm hesitant to transmit on 10 meter come Monday afternoon or Monday evening. I'm not sure if it will put out a transmission. Will it fry my device? It's just a mobile mount, magnetic mobile mount antenna that came with a Midland that he had. And I'm like, well, that's a GMRS antenna. So I guess what I'm saying is, my question is, if I have a stock magnetic mount ham frequency antenna in my truck, and my radio in my truck, will I be able to put out a transmit on 10 meter, or should I have a dipole set up on the house, or is it possible to transmit 10 meter from a mobile?
Yes, but you need a 10 meter mobile antenna.
Okay.
You're not going to go very far with a 2 meter or a 440 antenna.
What's the antenna designed for, Randy?
And I've been looking it up, trying to find out exactly what antenna I heard, because the one I was given, I know it was a GMRS antenna.
GMRS.
That's UHF.
Yeah, that worked for a bit, but then when I got my my ham ticket, I said, well, I needed to get another antenna. So, and I'm assuming that the antenna I have is a ham capable one. I don't even know what model it is. All I know is I get pretty decent 2 meter transmits. I can hear. I guess what I'm wondering is, come Monday night, will I be able to hear the 10 meter transmissions from other guys?
Well,
And
You might hear them, but I wouldn't transmit on it.
you're probably going
You
to,
probably have a combination 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna that you're using on 2 meters and 440. And any old piece of wire will let you hear on 10, but I wouldn't try to transmit into it.
Right. So I purposely didn't put in the transmit frequency for the 10 meter. I just put in the receive frequency so I can hear these guys. Because I didn't want to run the risk of screwing something up. So when I programmed in my radio, I made sure I did not put that transmit frequency in there. So I just want to be able to hear them.
If you get a mag mount for CB antenna, it'll probably work.
right. So if you had 11, we call it 11 meters, but
Yep.
if you had a CB antenna that was good for probably lower part of the band, you probably could let your internal tuner tune that up if you had a 10 meter transceiver. But just 2 meters, 70 centimeter, that's not going to load out very well for your finals on your 10 meter transceiver. I wouldn't key up on that unless you had a really good tuner.
Which radio is it?
The Woshin 980p.
Does that have 10 meters built into it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably just FM. Way at the top of the band. Is that where they are?
At 28.375.
Really?
No.
No.
Your radio won't go there.
That's a sideband frequency.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
It would be up closer to 29.
Okay.
Yeah,
29.6 is a simplex frequency for 10 FM.
Yeah, I don't believe that radio would work on sideband.
Okay.
In any case.
Will I be able to hear their transmissions?
Probably not on that rig.
No.
Okay.
Are they coming off a repeater?
He's talking about our 10 meter net.
Oh, our 10 meter, no.
No, at that frequency, no, you can't, there's no repeaters allowed at 28,375.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
For that, you need a real HF radio. Yeah, 10 meter FM is, you know, if there's some local action on it, you know, yeah, but once, when the sunspots get better,
Welcome.
it'll start rocking and you'll be able to have some contacts on 10 meter FM with a better antenna, with a real 10 meter antenna. With a dual band 2 meter 440 antenna, no, that ain't happening on 10 meters, and I wouldn't try to transmit on it.
I'm glad I asked then. Thanks for bearing with my my newness.
There is a 10 meter FMN repeater that I pick up here all the time.
Where's that, Bart?
I don't know. It's north of here someplace between Randy and I, but I don't know where it is. It's not listed in the repeater directory, and it took me a long time to convince myself that it was actually a repeater, because I hear 2-3 people chatting on it all the time.
What's the frequency?
Maybe 29.5.
Yeah. 295.
And it has incredible coverage, according to the people I'm listening to. I don't know how they do it.
No, there's nothing listed on 29.5. It's not even an FM channel.
I know it's not listed. Next time I hear them, I will write it down for you. I'll call you up and make you listen.
Okay, you think it's in Connecticut?
Yes.
I've heard that too, Bart. I've heard it too.
The only listed one is Bristol, KB1 CDI at 29,640.
It's not that one.
Okay. You're sure it's a repeater, Bart, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a repeater. And I say that in part because I watch and I get exactly the same signal strength no matter who's talking. And so if it was not a repeater and they were doing simplex, it's unlikely they would all have the same signal strength to me.
Mhm.
But if they're going through a repeater, then I'm always listening to the same transmitter.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, the this Woshin KG UV 980p that I have, it says it's quad band, and it's got 28 to 29.7 for 10 meter, 50 to 54 for 6 meter, and then 2 meter 70.
Which transmission modes does it have? Are they all FM or will it do sideband?
It sounds like FM.
Well, that's why I asked. I mean, if it covers all the way from 28 to 29.7, it makes you wonder whether it's only FM.
Yeah.
Unless the intent is to receive.
There are several 6 meter repeaters that are on FM on the high end. It's up in the 53 megahertz band. There's a couple. There's one that's up in the Springfield area that's linked to one in Tolland. And there's one down here in Hamden that has pretty good coverage. So there are several 6 meter ones. That might be a fun band to explore.
Yeah, I kind of got the bug because, like I said, that 2 meter and 440 check-in. Then following that, they had a simplex check-in, and I was able to, to me, that was when it really started to get real, right? Radio, talking the radio.
Sure.
And it gets me dreaming of, I hear some of you guys talking about, contacting other countries and other states, and I'm thinking, I got to get me some of that action. That's the excitement stuff there. So, and just trying to understand which is the best band to be in, what kind of rig I would need, what kind of antennas and all that stuff. Trying to make as many mistakes as I can so I can get a decent setup.
Go ahead, Joe. Tell them N1LES. You're muted.
Nah, you're muted. Stop eating your pistachios, Joe.
Just gotta buy them all.
And I know they're pistachios. I see them breaking shells.
You caught me.
He's our resident squirrel.
I missed the question.
Yeah, well, what would be the next logical step for me to start branching out into the other bands, the 6 and 10 meter?
And
And
I
then
come,
break-
IC 7300.
Oh, just bought one.
I bought one. Joe and Hammond's got one. Eric's
got
got
one.
one. I've had nothing but great reports.
Tell him about your experience on 10 meters. I think that's what he wants to know.
Also tell them about how you got into figuring out you wanted to get into HF, Joe.
How did I, Rob?
Well, you borrowed some gear, didn't you?
Yeah. So after like 28 years of 2 meter and 70 centimeter action, I decided, well, I know there's more to the hobby than that. So
You
Rob,
sure?
our station manager, was nice enough the club has equipment to lend out. So he gave me an HF, well, a nice rig, a Kenwood TS2000 that does everything, and a tuner and a power supply. So I went out and I bought a wire antenna, put it in my attic, set up the rig, and I started talking to guys from like South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Louisiana. I got hooked. So then I asked a couple other guys what rigs they had, and Eric said he had an ICOM IC 7300, and I know Joe and Hamden does, and a couple other guys have them.
Railroad Bob.
Yeah, Railroad Bob. So
And,
my wife got me an early Father's Day present.
Mike Pipe.
Mike's got a 7100.
No, I thought he had 73. Sorry.
So I got an early Father's Day present. I had to buy an auto tuner because of the wire antenna. It's random length, well, 75 feet in my attic.
He's got a hell of a house.
So put that up, hooked the auto tuner up. And today I talked to guys from Tennessee, Virginia, on like 70 watts. I'm not even running full power. But of course, as Bart says, when the bands open up, you need a wet noodle, which is true. But I had great signal reports and they love the audio on it. The microphone's made by Bob Heil, who spoke at our club meeting a couple weeks ago for ICOM, the element in there. So you really need an HF rig. I like that one. I'm glad I picked that. And an antenna and a tuner. And that's how I got started, and I'm hooked.
And he's got an attic antenna.
And an attic antenna.
Yeah, that's where my wife is kind of drawing a line. She says, hey, either quit the hobby or get a girlfriend because you're not putting an antenna in our house. We just bought a new house and she doesn't want the yard mussed up or me bolting stuff to the roof. So I'm thinking, I wonder if I could run something up to the antenna. I've got a pretty big cross section for a roof. So,
Well, you need at least the antenna came 53 feet. Okay, and it's end fed. So it's 53 feet of wire with a little gray box at the end that you hook a coax to. And on the other side of the gray box, you can put a counterpoise, another at least 30 feet of wire. So I did that, but I added on to the 53 feet of wire. So I have 75 feet. It goes 53 feet, the length of my house, takes a right turn about 6 feet. It comes back about 5, whatever it is, to make up the 75 feet. But you do need an auto tuner, especially if you're going to go on multiple bands, because the tuner in the radio, the ICOM 7300 has a tuner in it, but it won't match that antenna to the bands.
okay. What's the tuner that you have?
An LDG brand new, I think it's a Z100A or something. Couple $100. It's a little tiny box.
Yeah.
It plugs right in the back of the ICOM. It's interface to it. So when you hit the tuner button on the ICOM, it activates this tuner. And you hear the relays chattering and it tunes the wire right up. I got 1.0 SWR on everything I try to match.
There's antennas, Randy. There's antennas that you can put up that are, you really got to look for them to see them. Okay, so this week you're not going to get a tower and a beam antenna and that, but an antenna, an antenna that's an outside antenna beats an inside antenna every time.
And there are stealth antennas.
And an
know,
inside antenna beats none.
Yes.
And yeah, some antenna beats no antenna, but getting it outside is going to make a big difference. And in fact, just this past couple of days, I've been doing a lot of research and watching a whole bunch of videos and stuff on end-fed half-wave antennas, and they look pretty cool. And you get one with a black wire that's thin wire, and you string it up, and you really got to look for it to see it. And it's not going to be something unsightly. Your wife will never. I mean, wives have radar, but other than that, that's why I don't have a. That's why I don't have a wife anymore. But
I've got a place to put the antenna, but where I transmit from is on the other end of the house. So that begs the question: what kind of connection between the antenna and the receiver should I go with? I use wire, certain kind of wiring I use.
Well, if you go with the end-fed, they've got a little magic box. It's actually an impedance. It's an impedance transformer that and you feed that with coax, and you bring the coax, and that you could bring through the attic and down to the room that you're going to use, or over the roof and down to the room you're going to use, or however you got to get it there. And 66 feet of wire will get you on 40 and down, 40, 20, 15, and 10 meters, maybe 6 meters. I got to investigate that, but
Yeah, you can load anything on 6.
40, 20, 15, and 10 for sure. With should work without the tuner. If you got the room for 132 feet of wire, 80, pretty much all 80, 40, 20, 15, 10, 30 meters, 17 meters are fun bands, and you may need a tuner for those. 30 meters, you may need an external tuner for. 17 meters, the internal tuner in the that ICOM 7300, which I think is just a wonderful radio and a great value. And the internal tuner will do that. The tuner that Joe mentioned, I have the probably the same one, the LDG Z100 Pro, and good tuner. Get the interface that matches whatever radio you decide to get, and you're off to the races. The 7300 is a good choice. The Yaesu 991. I know the club has a couple of those, and they're also highly regarded. I don't know what Kenwood has really in that, but those are about. I don't want to guess. They're going to be about $1,200, something like that. But and you do, to get on HF, you do need general or better license.
No,
But he can get on 10 meters and 6 meters with a
10 meters,
technician license.
That's correct. 10 and 6 with a 2 tech license.
Randy, what kind of house do you have?
I have
Ranch, colonial, Cape?
a modern colonial. Yeah. It's an interesting collection of a house. So
So where's gonna be your shack? I know what colonial is. I have a raised ranch, but so where's the shack gonna be? Like the room, you have a bonus room over the garage, or?
yeah, so I've got a walkout basement on the north side of the house. That's where my office is. That's where the radios would be. And the antennas are on the south side of the house. So it's next to my garage.
So the shack gonna be in the basement?
No, the basement is below grade and the garage is above grade. So I'll be a little bit below grade when I transfer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think to get into the house. I mean, if you're in the basement, that's easy if the antenna's outside.
Yep.
If you have a chimney that goes from the basement to out the middle of the roof.
Yeah.
There's usually a little space chase in there.
Yep.
Drop wires down. Or if you got a room in a closet, you can usually come down through the closet.
Yeah, when I had a radon system put in the house, and when the guy drilled out the hole for the pipe, I said, "Hey, can you leave me a pencil's worth of room next to that pipe?" He said, "Sure." So he sealed it up with some silicone, and so I've got a little place to run some wire and have it run up that pipe, and I probably could have it go out that way. So that was my thought all along, was kind of use that.
So you got one coax that comes out of your station, that comes out of that pencil hole, goes up into like a little box that you can put on the outside of your house, feed whatever number of antennas on the top side, one feed line on the bottom side, and as many switching points as you need on that thing, plus ground.
Yeah. And then I'll be able to go up 50 feet from there, and I'm already at almost 750 altitude. The closest thing around me is about 300 feet below me, so I'll have pretty decent range once I get it up. So
you got good takeoff in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how fast a dipole can disappear into the woodwork. You can also put up a vertical close to the house, which is also, I know you could talk to Doc about that. He's got a vertical or a couple of verticals there, but you can put verticals up and they're great for DX. Maybe not so much for local, but it's great for DX.
You just put the wire antenna when your wife's out shopping for a few hours.
Yeah, better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
What Bart does is he sends his wife to Pennsylvania.
That's funny.
That's why I'm on mute and wearing a headset.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of our secretary, Bart, I was cleaning out all my old paperwork. Oh, God, I don't know if you can see this. No. I'll bring it next time we have it. It's let me turn the background off.
Turn your background off. God damn it.
Okay.
There you go.
So apparently the Wallingford Repeater Association used to have cards printed.
Yep.
So you're the secretary you're our
Michael
secretary.
Ash.
So you want to get business cards. And I shouldn't probably be showing these because these are the control codes for the repeater.
Well, since I'm recording this whole thing, I got them.
That's okay.
And on the back.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Auto
the,
patch speed dial. Oh,
auto
geez.
patch stuff.
patches for auto patch numbers.
I
That's
might
gotta
have
be-
one of those cards.
That's got to be 30 years old.
Yeah.
That's okay. I know the guy that does access the control codes for that thing.
Yeah, I know. I know him too. Matter of fact,
Well,
I got a meeting with him next week.
On the 12th, right?
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike and his wife Roberta on the auto patch used to be great entertainment.
Yeah, supposedly there's tapes of that around somewhere. I used to have to turn my radio off. I was cringing on those calls. I don't know why he kept calling her. Right, John? You can only take so much abuse.
Hey, speaking of HF, you see where that guy last night, he was a KD-9. I'm not sure where. It jumped out of a plane at 14,000 feet with a long wire antenna and his portable radio, and he worked 20 meters down. He had like 6 or 7 contacts, and he said he had about 300,000 pow up on the frequency. It was pretty interesting. They also simulcasted it on was on YouTube.
Did he have a parachute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I did.
I think it worked because they had him on video after.
I didn't hear that one.
I
Yeah.
wonder what you call that. It's not an aeronautical mobile and it's not a portable, maybe a portable.
I don't know what it was.
Parachute mobile.
Aeroportable.
Well, there's another photo for Ed, parachutes on the air.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, Ed.
Just
Oh,
call him a
before I
satellite.
forget-
Hey,
before I
Joe,
forget-
do you know what family pistachios belong to?
No, and I don't care to know, so don't say it.
Well, I'll tell you anyway.
Gambinos,
Poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac.
Oh, horseshit.
No, it's really. That's the family.
How come I'm not allergic to pistachio then?
Well, some people are very seriously, but it's the same family. People get rashes and stuff,
You know
I
what I
don't.
say about that?
usually on 40 meters, but they do. It's a true story.
Fine business, old man.
You better get rid of those things, Joe. I'll come over and pick them up from you.
That's right. I'll beat him.
And how microphone's probably full of peanut shells
Oh yeah, pistachios, baby.
or pistachio shells. Yeah.
We got the same bag, Rob.
Yes, sir. I love those dumb things.
My father used to eat them, but he ate the red ones. I don't know, maybe they didn't have the undyed ones back then.
Anybody else have any experience with the end-fed half waves?
I've had experiences with NFEDs,
Yeah, I had an end fed up for quite a while.
random wire NFEDs, and the counterpoises help a lot, and they tend to be noisier than a balanced antenna.
Yeah, it was always quite noisy.
And I just heard something on 29.5, Bart. I got it on now. He's not talking at the moment, but somebody made a transmission.
So when you say noisy, you're hearing noise on receive, on a bass noise?
Yes, and if you switch between a balanced antenna and an unbalanced antenna, you'll notice maybe 3 to 6 dB difference in noise, and the noise can mask a weak signal. So a balanced antenna is going to give you a quieter band. And I notice that a lot on 160 because I have to use my antenna as an unbalanced antenna on 160 to load it. And I can switch to the to the balun. I can't load with it, but I can listen with it. And it's a real pain in the ass to keep switching to hear a weak signal. But if I'm listening on the dipole balanced, I can hear Europe, but I still can't work it.
Joe, what did you have?
I had the my antennas end fed 80 through 10. And it was a bit of a trial trying to get it to, get the noise level down. I had it tied off to a leg of the tower and then stretched out in a sort of a sloper towards the back of the yard. And that was pretty noisy. The noise floor was always an S2 to an S4. And the funny thing was I still also had a vertical, which I still have. I could switch the vertical, the noise level was lower on the vertical, which is usually the reverse. So it was difficult. Then I ran a counterpoise for it, and that helped a little bit. And then I finally took it off the tower leg, even though it was installed as per the little pamphlet they send you with it. And I made it into an inverted V, and that quieted things down quite a bit. But I still needed the counterpoise underneath it, though. Other than that, it was a pretty good antenna. It received it pretty well. I never had a whole lot of luck with transmitting. I could hear a lot more than I could transmit to. But then, now things are improved. The bands are getting better. But I had this up until from 2019 through 2020.
I have one up now. Same thing. I'm not overly impressed with it. SWR is about the best I can get on any band is about 2 to 1, and I have it sort of set up where it looks like an inverted V. Only the one leg of the inverted V it doesn't come from a high point down. It stays horizontal up in the air, and maybe because it's folded back like that is why this thing's not loading quite right.
Well, I did find that the bandwidth on it, when I would hit the tuner button, the bandwidth was kind of narrow. If I moved, 40, 50 kc, I had to retune it. Otherwise, the SWR would jump up.
Even on the higher frequencies, Joe?
Yep. That's where I first noticed it.
Really? That's typical for, like 80, 160.
Yeah, well, that's
Sean, what did you use in the woods?
I'm using the NCOM 3. It's kind of a pack antenna. It's it's a full wave or a half wave NFED.
It's an NFED. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked it up the other night after reading your little, what you published on the email. And I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I looked it up. It's an interesting antenna.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been working great. I worked most of the East Coast down to the Midwest, Canada, and Italy and Scotland.
On what bands?
Scotland was on 20 and Italy was on 40.
And it's an NFED half wave?
Yeah.
And just feed it with coax and no counterpoise, or?
It has the counterpoise on it.
How long is the antenna and how long is the counterpoise?
I know the counterpoise is 25 feet.
Let's see.
And the full length, I think it's in the 80-foot range.
I thought it was somewhere around 60, but I can't remember for sure.
Trying to pull it up now, the exact specs.
There are charts with ideal lengths for NFED antennas depending on the band, but depending upon what chart you look at, they're not always the same length. So it's got to be an experiment.
Most of the designs I've been looking at use a 49-to-1 Balun, which or not Balun, definitely not a Balun. It's an UNUN actually, but 49-to-1 impedance transformer, which actually looks pretty easy to build.
That's what mine has, John, an UNUN.
Unbalanced to unbalanced.
It's just that why you can make them. There's YouTubes on how to make them. Wire the enamel copper wire or enameled wire. How many turns around the choke?
I tried to load that NFED today that I have on 10.1 megs. And the best I could get SWR was 8-to-1.
Yeah, the NCOM is 60 feet. But they don't really say how long the a counterpoise you should have. They must say something about it in the instruction sheet, though.
In the user manual, there is the length of the wire is 73 feet plus 25 feet of counterpoise.
This is the MCON 2?
3.
Oh, okay. The MCON 2 is what I just looked at, and that's 60. It was 60 foot.
Well, yeah, but not 73 feet, 60 feet. That's not a half wave on
anything.
Anything.
It's almost more like a random wire.
Yeah, 66 feet is half wave on 40 meters, and 132 feet for 80 meters.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah. Yes, Jim.
No, the other Jim N1ZN. Your bear was down at Serafino's Friday. You ought to take better care of keeping him in your yard.
He was ordering out.
Yeah. Because he said you stopped feeding him.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? It was run out of honey there.
Trying to beat Ed to Serafino's for the Christmas party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a busy street down there. And then if he goes behind Serafino's, the Parkway.
Yeah, if he can get across the parkway, he's got a lot of woods though.
Well, a river too over there.
He's gonna end up roadkill for John B there if he crosses that parkway. John will have to go down there and collect them.
I'll go get him.
Where'd you see that, Eric? Where'd you see that notice?
My daughter happened to be in Virginia at the time, saw it on Facebook at the bottom of
Oh.
Cheshire Road Friday morning, and then there was another sighting at around 9 o'clock at Serafino's.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if it was your bear or not.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know if they read the license plate hanging from his ears.
Okay, Sean's got questions.
Yeah, he's got some questions on the chat.
Okay, how do signal reports really work? Everyone is not really 5'9".
They are in a contest.
In a contest, everybody is 5'9".
In a
Everybody's
contest, everybody's
5'9".
5'9".
Except every once in a while, somebody gets a real
You
signal
know,
report.
You're
But it's just
5'9".
5'9" for convenience, just makes life easier and
Yeah, you're
It's
5'9"
faster.
and repeat it. Repeat all your information, and you're 5'9". So, 5'9" means an S9 signal on your S meter is the 9, and 5 is perfectly copyable.
Readability is 5, strength is 9. And then on CW it's 599. The second 9 is for tone, which is pretty much obsolete because everybody has a good power system now. And if you were chirpy or had some hum on your signal, you would be a T8 or a T7 or a T6 for CW, but everybody's pretty much 599 on CW. And readability is the 5, 1 through 5, and strength would be the 9 part.
Good thing we don't have to use the old SINPO.
Well, that was for shortwave listening. That
Yeah,
wasn't really, that
shortwave,
never caught on in ham radio,
Thank
fortunately.
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, logging software and rig control, worth it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely is.
oh, yes, definitely.
And 1mm.
You definitely want to keep electronic logs. N1MM is sort of what everybody in the club uses. It's mostly contesting software. It's usable as a general log, but you can get other programs as general logs. But if you want to do something like Logbook of the World, where you get electronic QSL cards, confirm your contacts in different countries, continents, whatever.
Yay.
There we go.
Is that
Ed's
papyrus
got
said?
Ed's got
Ed.
yeah, he's got what is that stuff called? Yeah, papyrus.
Papyrus. Yeah.
You're muted, Ed.
The logbook of the Ed is what it is.
Yes.
Mr. Technology there, Ed, but
Yeah, so
Tell me when that mass ejection occurs, you're going to be begging me for a page of this.
no, we're not. So Sean, here's the thing. When you're if you're doing contests or even if you're just doing general DX, when you got a logging program up, you've got rig control in the software, and you say, hey, there's a guy that's reporting a guy over in Africa or Japan or some other place. You see a call sign, you post a call sign on the telnet, you click the call sign, and all of a sudden your rig tunes to the same guy and you hear him on there. Now you can work this guy. It's a lot faster, a lot easier than if you do it in Ed's method. So, and I know Ed knows better about rig control and all that kind of stuff from 13 Colonies. But it's an easier way to manage how you do your band changing and your data collection during when you're DXing or maybe contesting.
It also logs your frequency and your exact time,
Right.
frequency and your exact time, which is very convenient.
It's very, very, it just takes care of some of the more mundane tasks.
It's incredibly helpful to prevent duplicates.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. An embarrassing dupe.
They are embarrassing when it happens, yes.
And when you bring up the call, when you punch in the call, you like I use mine for general logging. If I work the guy in 6 different contests, he'll come up 6 times, you know, that I've worked them. Of course, that doesn't work for single contest duping, but for general logging, it works. I can tell if I worked the guy before.
Single contest duping is easy. You just take the new contact and you work that as your new contact, whether you worked them before or not.
Yeah.
It makes it simple, but you're going to see in your contest software, whether you use N1MM or not, you're going to see whether you worked the guy before or not. And hey, you know, I remember this guy's voice, and what's the guy's name? You're going to look down at your software and say, oh, his name is Joe. You know, it's easy like that.
And if you don't copy his exchange, sometimes if you worked them before, it's right there in front of you. That's
Yeah, you
helpful
just
too.
you just got to listen once or twice, and then you'll know.
I agree with Ed there. Can't beat these guys.
Yeah, you can.
You see
They're
the
great
date
for
on-
starting
Puppy, you
fires.
see the date on that?
I bet you I could beat it.
See the date on that puppy?
All right, so now I gotta figure out how to fit my desktop and my monitors and everything else into my backpack.
Why? There's telephone logging programs, phone apps that'll do logging. Don't ask me which one, but I've seen them.
Okay.
Yeah, tablets,
Tablets or Android,
laptop.
even Mac. Yeah.
I see a lot of guys use the tape recorders from the park program for logging. They log with a tape recorder, I guess, and type it up when you get home or whatever.
Hey, Sean,
maybe-
just all you got to really do is just, if you use something like what Ed showed you, you write down all your contacts in straight hand, not cursive. Then you use OCR when you get back to your house for your computer or your laptop, and the OCR will pick up on everything else that you need to have.
Hey,
Yeah, if
Rob,
you're just doing parks or something, you could do it on a paper. We're more focusing on a contest, you know, with dupes and you know, band changing and all that stuff. But if you're just out on a hilltop, nothing. wrong
well,
with paper.
I did the
I don't
logs
think.
for Winter Field Day a few years ago, and we were doing paper logs before Rob got the laptop running and trying to decipher various different people's handwriting. Your accuracy goes way down.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another advantage. If you're doing paperwork to clean up a log for a submission for a contest, you're much better off doing it electronically.
Yes, sir.
Any suggestions for a program that runs on the Mac that's decent?
Yeah, there is one, and it's freeware. You can Mac has payware and freeware. I don't know offhand what it is. It's on my 12-year-old Mac downstairs, but I could dig it up for you, Jim.
Bart, do you use your logging program to control your rig? I'm using the same logging program as you.
Yes and no. Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing sideband, no. But when I do FT8, they're linked together and it does all the stuff.
And Joe or Eric with the 7300s, your interface cable, does it have the
It's just a printer cable.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
It's a standard
USB A to B, yeah.
Yeah,
A to B.
standard printer cable.
But I can't interface that Win32 log to the radio. I can't get it to work.
Use N1MM.
Yeah, I think I even tried it with that. I don't know, something.
It works. I had
It should
N1M
work.
running also. It works just fine.
Yeah, it works fine with
However,
N1MM.
if you go into, you try to interface with something else that you also needs a COM port, you'll find that that setup will glom onto the COM port and it will not let, it does not give it up, even if you don't have N1MM running. So that you have to go in and change the settings.
Yeah, I know that. It gloms the audio from the computer.
Yep, it does. So you got to change those, and they usually have to find a different COM port number also.
It's got to be just a setting that I'm out in the software I haven't figured out yet, because the Win32 log does not list an ICOM 7300. But you search the internet, it says use 7800 setting. And when I click initialize, I can't get the little screen. The little screen that comes up doesn't look the same as my display on my radio.
With N1MM, you need like an XML file and it's got to reference an XML file for the 7300. There's a special file for it. I can
Alright.
email it to you.
Yeah, you might, I missed the beginning of that, but for the very end, and each radio has its own hex address,
Yeah,
and you might need to change that.
okay.
The
Sean,
manual
you-
is pretty complete. The
Yeah,
N1MM
Yeah.
manual.
Yeah,
Any
try-
thoughts on the QRZ online log?
That's what I've been using.
Good luck
Mhm.
trying to download it once you've uploaded it. It's going to cost you money.
Right, yeah, that's what I ran into when
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I gotta submit this log to Parks on the Air. And yeah, can't get it.
That's
Sean,
why
the
most
other
people
one-
start them and then abandon them quickly.
The
Yeah,
other one you might want to look at, Sean, is N3, what is it, FJP, FPJ? It has a general logging program, plus programs for pretty much every contest, every major contest. Yeah, and
You're gonna spend
they-
money on it.
they all integrate. Yeah, it's not expensive though. I think it was for the whole package to get everything, all the contests and everything. And I think it was $50. So it wasn't.
Yeah, I got the N1MM logger plus with the rotator. Not sure what that does yet.
Well, if you had a beam, it would interface that.
Oh,
Yeah. You work a guy in Europe at,
Because if you look at the bottom of the, let's say you put in a JA station, a Japan station, you put the call sign in,
right,
right below the call sign window, it'll give you the beam heading in the distance from your location, which is very helpful for those people that have beams. I'm not one of them, but when I did have a beam, you had to always look up the beam headings for all these countries, and this will do it for you. 330 degrees for Japan. I remember that.
I'm all in favor of free software.
Yes. The only problem with N1MM is it updates at least weekly.
No, that's not, that's a problem and not the problem.
Yeah, I know.
You're right about that, Eric.
Yeah.
if it works, don't screw with it.
Oh, I don't screw with it.
Well, they tinker with it every single week. So if, let's say you have a problem, Sean, with N1MM and you submit it to the raw software writers, which is a bunch, they'll actually work on the problem. And if they see enough of the same issues with other people, they'll actually create a solution for it and come up with another iteration of it before the next either contest or QSO party, that kind of stuff. So that's why they're always coming out with new iterations of N1MM, always new updates.
And it's free.
The best thing about it is I go up there on Saturdays and I start all the computers at the EOC and I just update N1MM to the latest revision. And I've had a few iterations that I've had issues with and submitted bugs reports to, and they're very responsive to it. You'll actually get a personal email response from some of the writers. Bye, Ed.
Bye,
Bye,
Ed.
Bye, Ed.
Bye, Ed.
Okay. And auto patch, how does this work?
Auto patch.
It doesn't.
Go get Mike Pipe. They'll tell you.
Yeah, do we still, I don't know if it's still even hooked on.
The
I heard a
phone line
rumor
is
that
there,
it
but
was.
I don't think so.
Sean, you're gonna think I'm making up stories now, Sean, but there was a time when not everybody had cell phones.
no, actually, I remember that time.
And
Actually, when nobody had cell phones.
when nobody had, yeah, there was even, and the auto patch was basically tied a telephone line to the repeater.
Right.
You put in a DTMF code, and then you could dial a phone number, and you could talk to somebody. Of course, it was half duplex, so it wasn't exactly like talking on the phone. You could talk, and when you're on the phone, you can talk, and the other person can
interrupt.
You could talk and then you had to listen.
But you had to talk and then could.
It helps to say over when you're doing them.
And it was, it was one of the purposes of it would be to say, be able to call 911 from your handheld or mobile unit in the car, to report an accident or a dangerous situation or something like that. And, or call your wife and tell her you're running late, you hit traffic, I'm going to be home in half an hour, whatever,
At which point she screams at him.
But, well, yeah, if it was Mike calling up Roberta, she'd.
Right.
I don't care. Get off that radio.
And everybody can hear you.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a private conversation at all. Everybody can hear it, which, as I say, was great.
I've been trying to insult Mike for years, and so far I've been unsuccessful. No matter what I say, he doesn't get insulted.
He does not get insulted, that guy. He just doesn't.
And I
accept
try.
it.
I get yelled at by my daughter after one club meeting. Why are you so mean to Mike? I said, because he expects it.
Jesus. Conversely, so interestingly enough, we've got a phone patch that's almost brand new that we're going to be selling in our first ever tailgate or flea market. So it comes from the Denison SK estate.
Don't you need a copper line for that, Rob?
You need a copper line for it. You're right.
I got a quick
This is
question.
just like really obsolete technology.
Yeah.
Some
It is.
people might have a copper line. You never know. You never know, Eric.
Some
Well,
people
I got a
that
quick
raise
question
pumpkins.
on
No,
Zoom.
Go ahead,
Hi,
Jim.
Bart.
The illustrious
All right.
club secretary has copper wire.
I like on Zoom, like the meeting we had the other week, about after a half hour or so, my picture disappears. Anybody have that happen on their computer? It's like the camera shuts off or something. I couldn't figure out how to turn it back on.
There's a chance that you have the USB port is configured for energy saving kind of crap. So it just sort of times out.
Right.
If-
You gotta.
if
You,
it's a
you
laptop,
gotta.
you got to change the battery saving settings. So you're not trying to save things.
Yeah, Bart's an IT expert, so I would listen to that.
Okay, I'll figure that out maybe.
Just open up properties under the control panel for
Yeah.
Yeah, look
your
under the
camera,
power settings.
and
Is it a
it'll
laptop, Jim?
What?
Is it a laptop?
Yeah, it's brand new.
If it's a laptop, then it's
Yeah.
the first place to look is in the battery saving things.
right.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that helps is to have it plugged into the external power supply.
It
And
is.
sometimes that will avoid the battery saving, but not always.
Yeah, it is. It's always plugged in. I haven't
I
unplugged it.
think
Yeah.
in those power settings, you can set different things to happen depending on whether it's plugged in or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's plugged in, you can have it just stay on forever. This is a laptop and it actually have it, if nothing happens, it shuts off after, or hibernates or sleeps or whatever after 2-3 hours or something like that. So it's, if you don't touch a key or anything. So if there was if Ed's meetings get any longer, I might have to readjust that, but.
I never
I'll
have
try.
mine shut off. Never shut off. Kill the battery. I can replace the battery.
On some of the new ones, you can't, not without taking it all apart.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll take it all apart.
Yeah, this one, well, this is a real, I had to buy this one on the road because I left my other one home, but this was like the cheapest thing I could get just because I had to get some email and take care of it. So, but this one has no access to the battery.
Neither does this one. This is a Microsoft Surface laptop. So the battery is probably right behind the LCD panel. And my boss has got one like it, and his battery blew up. The thing looked like it somebody put a balloon in between the back panel and the LCD and just expanded it. It was out there about 2 or 3 inches.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, front to back, it was amazing. And the thing still worked, except it didn't hold a charge. You had to plug it in all the time. So I said, let me work on it. He says, no, I'm just going to give it to IT. And I said, who do you think IT is over here? Exactly. He gave it to the IT over in Cheshire, so they had to deal
Tag,
with
you're
it, I
it.
guess. Yeah, exactly.
So Bart, this guy on 29.5, is he strong at your house?
I don't know, let me turn the radio back on.
Well, he's not talking now. I've been listening. He's come on a couple of times. I get a possible call of K1 OTM, Oscar Tango Mike.
29
I'm
what?
Huh?
29 what?
29.5 FM. I think he's using it as a link or a remote base or some kind of crossband thing. And it's probably low power. But I did hear him talk a couple of times, but he's not like really active. But I did hear like about 3 transmissions from the guy.
I think you have the right call sign. That seems to come to mind. I might
Okay.
actually have it written down on my desk here somewhere.
Yeah.
Amongst the 500.
But he's not strong. He's about an S5, just slightly over the noise level at my house. So interesting though.
So what are you guys doing tomorrow? Anybody?
Something.
Fox hunt.
Fox hunting.
Working.
Fox hunting.
Yes, and there was a possible promise of Easter eggs as well.
There might be Easter eggs got tomorrow.
So that should be interesting.
I'm sure it will be interesting.
Maybe golf,
In the rain?
if it's not raining.
It's
Oh.
gonna rain.
Well, the course is going to be wet, soggy wet. Have no fear of that.
The greens will be very slow, Joe.
Just
Cart
a
path
touch.
only. Cart path only. So get it near the cart path.
Cart path only.
Yeah.
Or
But-
miniature golf.
No, play Highland Greens in Prospect. There is no cart path.
Uh-oh.
There's no cart.
There's carts, but no cart paths.
Yeah, I
Hey,
won't be
you-
on the fox hunt tomorrow. I won't be there.
We should do a like some sort of golf outing for Meriden Amateur Radio Club.
Yeah, first annual, Rob, set it up.
All right, I'll set it up.
You're the chair of the committee.
Prospect, they still got the pistol range at Public Works up there.
I don't know.
You can bring your stuff to the dump and take a few pot shots.
I take pot shots anywhere.
Yeah.
Ask your buddy Doug Fairchild.
Is he up there still?
Yeah.
What's your handicap, Joe? Or anyone?
How about if I told you 3, you wouldn't believe me. So I'll say 40.
I'm around a 14.
I haven't broke 100 yet for 18.
I'm just talking about for 9.
Yeah, I shoot like a 55 on 9.
Yeah, I usually shoot a 53, 51.
I
have a hard
The
I have a-
putting's killing me.
I have a hard time breaking 50. I keep trying hard, but my driver's good. My fairway woods are good. My approach shots are crap, and my putting is just a little substandard.
Yeah. Par 3, I can get on a 1 and 4 putt.
Right, exactly. My problem exactly. But still, between me and the other guy at work, we're in number 2 position on a league of 5 teams, so not too shabby.
Yeah, and I look at it, you're out there playing. That's-
Yeah.
Beat it, you know?
Tuesday's always good. I get to leave around 2:30 and go practice for a while and shoot some golf and have some fun. And
Tuesdays, I usually play with my wife because she just took it up. And on Thursdays, I play with a bunch of guys that I used to work with
nice.
30 years, 20 years ago. So
I used to play at Lyman Orchards or Lyman's Golf,
yeah,
but now we're playing at Stanley. So they got 3 9 holes.
Yeah, I was gonna go there. We're gonna go there next week, but they're gonna go somewhere else. But we'll play that this year. We need
You
to
know
go
who-
up. We play Lyman. We play Woodhaven, a nice course in Bethany there. Muni in New Haven.
Mhm.
Sleeping Giant, Southington, Hunters. We go all over the place. Indian Springs.
You ever go up to what's the one up there in not Avon?
Farmingberry. We play Farmingberry up there in Beacon, I guess.
Tunxus? You ever play Tunxus?
No.
They got like 57 holes or something stupid like that.
Hmm.
They've
Yeah,
got one course that's like what do they call that? A plantation style course. A lot of pothole bunkers, a lot of lateral hazards.
Well, you'll have to find a tournament. 'Cause I know I play, you play, I know Jim and N1ZN plays, so have the club sponsor us, foursome, an attorney.
That would be very cool.
73 guys. I'm going.
See ya, Bart.
Hey,
Bart,
Bart.
hey, Bart.
Yeah.
That guy is a silent key, K1 OTM, so
Oh,
that may not be
not him.
correct. All right,
Okay.
I gotta go too. See you guys later.
Yeah, I'm going to.
See you later.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I'm out here. See you
Hey,
later.
maybe,
Night.
be able to set up a special event while the golfers are out on the course. The rest of us are giving the play-by-play.
Oh, golf course is on the air.
There you go.
GCODA.
Bring a mobile rig. Bring a mobile rig. We can do a play-by-play.
Yeah, you just put it right
Hole
out the
by
back
hole.
of the golf cart with get a yeah, we'll put the rotor and get the big beam antenna on top of the golf cart and spin it around.
We could mount it right onto one of the poles of the golf cart, and you just go from hole to hole.
There you go.
We'll make sure we let you know, Sean.
Very good.
Take
All
care,
right,
guys.
stay
Thanks for your help tonight.
See you later, Randy.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming, Randy.
thanks.
All right. And I'll see you guys later.
Hi, all.
Adios.
Bye, John.
Take care.
There we go. That's the end of it. Bang Zoom and meeting.